In 2014, we had big issues with our federal government, which cut our budget. We had a war. ISIS invaded the country and took over a third of Iraqi territory. This led to huge population migration, resulting in 1.8 million people being displaced, moving to the Kurdistan region, ultimately increasing our population by 30%. This all took a toll on the infrastructure and our resources. If that wasn't enough, oil prices plummeted from $140 to 100 to 100 to 60, 60 to 40, 40 to 20. So we were left with a massive fiscal deficit, huge political issues, security threats, and a humanitarian crisis. In Kurdistan, dinosaurs still roam the earth. I know they were extinct in other parts of the world, but we still have them. And they're bureaucrats. And they love bureaucracy. And they love to look at laws and regulations and guidelines and use these laws and regulations and guidelines to complicate processes. And not to expedite processes, but they will find this regulation and use this regulation to not do something. So the way that we decided to break through some of these barriers was to use technology. And one of the first initiatives we did was to look at the biggest spending for us is in the civil service. We have a huge civil service, and when you can't pay salaries on time, we needed to figure out how can we pay salaries on time? Well, we need to find out who we're paying. So we called in the cabinet and we said, all right, who are we paying? There was no data. Everything was on paper. Everything was dispersed among multiple ministries and departments. So we introduced a biometric registration program to biometrically register every single employee, pensioner, fiscal benefit recipient in the government. And in 6 months, we were able to register over 1.2 million people. This gave us a clear snapshot, one, of where the problem is, two, where the solutions. So another exciting initiative for us was a program that we are starting and we're implementing called Services, which we basically process map to every transaction between the government and the citizen. And we now have about 380 individual transactions, individual interactions between our government and our public. And we collected the data, verified the data, and have put the data into a web portal where citizens can now see how do you apply for a driver's license, how do you apply for, you register your company, a whole host of services. Now, we're not providing these services online yet, but we're getting ready to. We're putting in place the mindset that we're moving towards a new digital era. Now, one of the things that separates us from the rest of the country, and this is a very unique situation, is we're trying to promote foreign investment. So we want to make it easy for people to visit Kurdistan. So we don't make people wait 3 months to get a visa to come to Iraq. We have instituted our own e-visa process where you can apply for a visa online, and within an hour or so, you'll be approved or rejected based on the data that is submitted. And this makes it easy for foreign investors to come in. And it gives them the sense that there is a government that is open, that is a government that wants them there. And parallel to that, we have an e-residency program where we're now home to lots of foreign workers, foreign labor, skilled and unskilled. What connected us with Estonia was we're digitizing our court system. And the help of the Estonian government, actors, an Estonian private sector company is showing us the way, digitizing the court system, which is, again, expediting the legal process, making it more transparent. So we're trying to prove on a case-by-case basis that digitization is the way to go. But what I would like to see, actually, because I've spoken to many people over the last 2-3 days, and there are many experiences that are very similar, is how can we structure this dialogue to be more effective, rather than a once-a-year gathering where everyone shares their stories or their woes, but a forum where we can, especially developing countries or countries that are beginning the process of digitization, how can we one learn from each other, help each other, exchange ideas, exchange knowledge, exchange technology, to create a much more globally and digitally connected community.